We appreciate you being here with us this morning as we have a jam-packed morning filled with plenty of conversations that I'm very much looking forward to sharing with you. Inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', today's broadcast will start off with an exclusive conversation that you will find nowhere else. Not like this. Jesse Edwards joining me on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora to give his thoughts on his next chapter. He made the decision to move on from Syracuse and enter the transfer portal. Instead of going into the NBA draft and taking a look at his NBA stock, he thought one more season in college, but one more season in college elsewhere with this bonus year that was given through COVID. So Jesse has been on the show for many, many years. We have had a lot of conversations, and he has always trusted me to tell his story. A lot of people have spoken for him. A lot of people have made decisions for him publicly on what he's doing, why he's doing it, and who he is. It's not fair. It's not right. And nobody's in Jesse's shoes except for Jesse. So Jesse has provided me the opportunity to share his story, to tell his truth. Jesse is not a money-hungry person. Jesse is a hardworking, dedicated individual who has given so much to Syracuse, who has loved Syracuse, who has stuck by my hometown. He's made the decision to do something with his grad year, which is what a lot of people have been doing for many, many years pre-NIL and pre-transfer portal. They want to spend 1 year, a bonus year, somewhere else, seeing what can come of that. I understand it. I respect the man, and I look forward to sharing the stage with him momentarily. After that, in a special Dolphin Dive, Joe Tesori will join me here in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Moyne College. Joe, the coach of the men's and women's golf teams, will talk about those teams and the Masters. And in hour number 2, I will be joined for the entire hour with my good friend, Katie Kalinski, Lafayette Leopards assistant coach for women's basketball going into her 5th year, and before that, spent a season at Buffalo with women's basketball, and before that, spent 7 years on the Syracuse Orange men's basketball staff. We will truly speak on where sports meets life with Katie in hour 2. We'll take a quick step aside for a fast break. When we come back, Jesse Edwards tells his story, and you need to listen, because a lot of people have said who he is and what he's about. They've made judgment calls on him knowing nothing. It's not an easy decision to be in college these days. And players have every right to explore their opportunities. Jesse and I will talk about it right after this.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports meets life. We're on youtube.com, facebook.com, both /wakeupcalldt, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. Audio and video around the world. And that's important because some people right now are watching and listening potentially from Amsterdam. And so I am always happy to have Jesse Edwards here on the broadcast. And he's been good to me since day zero of coming into Syracuse, and I would like to hope that he feels the same way. So with that being said, I proudly welcome the center that you've had in Syracuse for many years, Jesse Edwards. Jesse, how are you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Absolutely. So we got a lot of stuff to unpack, a lot of stuff to get into. So some news came out within these last couple days from family, and saying that there was maybe an NIL thing that didn't go your way or what you wanted. Can you enlighten us on that and tell me, like I told you over the phone when we were off the air, I like to hear it from the person. I don't like to hear it from a second, third, or fifth source. So what was there anything with NIL that had any part of this decision?
It was a bunch of things, man. Like I said, earlier, it's been like hard for me to, like, this was my first option. I wanted to come out and say that, like, the accuse has been, like, the reason it took kind of a long time is because we were trying to work out something that would work out for both of us, and I wanted to give, the opportunity to make that happen. And the coaches have been great. Coach Oxtree, with everything throughout the whole process, they've been, on top of it and trying to get it done. But at the end of the day, the idea and opportunity of NIL was definitely considered for sure, because of stories I know from whether it's the papers or other friends I have that are international in sports, are transferring or at that university, getting some type of fun ideas for something they can do with the university or outside of it, and that's what we talked about for a while, and it just didn't quite work out the way we wanted it to, and that's why, after a while, this is the way I'm going to go.
When you talk about that, coming from Amsterdam, from the Netherlands, how does this all work out? Are there different rules in what you're allowed to do with NIL and schools? And what is different, if anything is different?
If I was American, it would be, pretty straightforward. It would be any other athlete that's been, doing any type of NIL deal or whatever. But since I am international, that's just it's as far as I understand, it's just a visa issue. If you're a student in a different country, you can't earn money or do any type of work in that country unless you have a work visa or some special exception or whatever. And so that's pretty much where the work visa for every international student in college or NIL in general. It's just the conflict with the visa, basically.
So when you looked at, like you said, Syracuse tried to get some things done, and you're exploring NIL and whatnot. If the overall issue is being an overseas player with a visa, where does Syracuse come into it that it didn't work out? Are there things that other colleges and universities can do that Syracuse can't, or how does that kind of work into it?
It's just the hard, like it's so new at this point that like I think the first 4 years, like it's been four, I think, like it was my freshman year. I think I remember that like this kind of started up, and ever since then, like I feel like the students who had like no visa, like stuff at all, like regular students have been trying to work out how it works, in the first place. And like now we're at the point where international students are starting to join a little bit and try to find out how it works, because the first 3 years or 4 years pretty much I like touched it because I didn't want to. I've like I didn't know anything about it to be honest, and I didn't see a lot of other people or hear a lot of other people or international do it. So I didn't really think about it too much. But like I said, like now it's starting to get to the point where it's becoming so big and everybody's looking at it in some way, shape, or form that like I couldn't ignore it completely. And yeah, it's I guess it's just it's such a new landscape that some places are kind of like further in it, and some places are like everybody's trying to figure it out, I guess.
So you're here with Jesse Edwards, who spent a lot of time with Syracuse basketball, or here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. So you said Syracuse was trying to work it out, trying to work out a deal. What were they trying to do for you when it came to NIL?
Just I mean, help out the students, like help me out. Try to find ways to incorporate that into the athletic department for international students, for me. Try to give the right resources and pretty much just try to set it up, because it's obviously not something they can do. So it's like something they can help you with, and just set it up in a way that's understandable, and you can get into contact with the right people. And like I also said, it's not like it wasn't just this. This is like one of the things that I had to like start considering this year. And obviously, like every year I've had here, I've loved. So it's not. It was a hard choice. It still is. Like I just made it obviously like a day ago. So it was hard regardless. Like of like putting my name in and all that. So yeah, I mean. Regardless, I hope the best for me and for the best for the program. Like I hope it's the best choice for both of us. So that's what I think at this point.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you put so much in, you've grown so much, and
yeah,
I loved the fact that a couple of years ago, I was talking about a guy named Jesse Edwards, and then some people started talking, and then some more people started talking. They're like, "Oh, he's a pretty good player," and I was like, I wonder if anybody said that 2 years ago. So, to me, I could see what was going on, but people have started to see it over these last couple of years. Where do you feel like your game has grown the most, and what have you been doing behind the scenes to get it there?
Man, yeah, like I mean, like you said, like it was, I mean, 2 years where I like almost didn't play a lick on the court. And just was waiting for my chances. So, like mentally, I just had to. That's always what I said. Like my first year, it's like I just had to, grow into the mental game of, an everyday player, of someone who works, his butt off every day. Turns up in the practice, turns up in the games. Obviously, I had to grow get some stronger. Improve my skills, like the basketball skill set in general. But every year, I just, we just worked on some different stuff, whether it was with Griff, with a coach, or any of the assistants, really. We just worked on something. And try to just improve step by step, and I hope I did as well as I could, and help the team as well as I could, and that was just my main goal most of the time, just to go out and try to get the win and see what I had to do to at that point help the team. So it was for me, it was a lot of fun. It was hard, and it was also like rewarding to see if it did get better.
And you mentioned Griff. I mean, obviously, Alan Griffin working with the bigs.
Yeah.
What has he done to help you personally? How has he made you a better player, a better person? What has been specific to Alan Griffin working with you that you can say has been positive?
Griff, a lot of things. Like he's obviously the guy I've worked with the most. I'd say, like, every before every practice we had like I'd say 30, 40 minutes with like the smaller groups. So for me to be the base group in the first year was with Barama. Bull was obviously there. So and it switched a little bit over the years, but Griff told me, he's taught me, like I said, starting with the mental game, becoming a little bit of a pro in your own right. Because I was pretty young when I came here. I was 19. You're growing up, but I had to just understand a few things that he helped me out with, like, a lot. And then just skill wise, developing every day, like just getting out there, and whether it was the same drills, whether it was simple mic and drills or whatever, it's just we got to work every day. So bunch of different things.
And and so to get back to it here, and this decision, you said it wasn't an easy decision. I was with you in Greensboro, and I was the last person in that locker room before the world changed and we found out about Boeheim and all that. You were the last person I talked to in the locker room, and when I came over and spoke to you, and as always, it's all love, positivity, smiles. We shook hands, and I said, where are you at? And you said, I'm going to sit down with the staff. I got to see what's going on. I got to figure out what they're doing, what I'm doing. But I would imagine this is going to be a relatively fast process that I'm going to go through. From that moment that you and I talked to going through this process, did it go as fast as you thought it would go? Slower? Did the monkey wrench of Jim Boeheim coming out and Adrian going in change anything? Bring me into the timeline of your decision and what has affected your decision.
I'd say, there's so much stuff that just changed from that point. Like you said, starting with Coach Bam, retiring, to Coach Red being appointed pretty soon after that, and then me figuring out what I'm going to do. It's like, it was like, for me, it was just like a big change after big change after, and not just me, like everybody in Syracuse, and especially on the team, it was just a lot of stuff going on, a lot of decisions to be made. So, that already by itself, like, just caused me to just take a little bit more time, slow everything down a bit, consider everything. And then I was with the team for, pretty much up till yesterday. I practiced every day. I wanted to stay in the like, as a part of the team. I still feel like that, but because we've been so close all this time, and Red's doing a great job so far. It's been a lot of fun, the last couple of weeks working with them, and it's been, I don't know how to say it. It's been wild. It's been a bit of a ride for everybody, but it's the way it had to go right now. So I couldn't even describe it. Like, there's so much different points and different things that happened that like, it was just up and down all the time. I couldn't really say, like, oh, it went in this direction and then it slowly went there, and it was just up and down. Like, it felt like every day something was changing or happening. So
So besides besides the NIL part of it, you said a lot of things went into your decision. What were those things?
I mean, first of all, it's like the loyalty I have to Syracuse. Like I've been here for 4 years. Um, the decision to play another year of college was first of all a decision because I had to think about signing up for the draft, seeing what my stock would be, seeing whether this would be the year to go or next year. So that was like my first decision. I had to take some time to figure out where I wanted to go for it now or wait. And then from then on out, I had to figure out where's the best place to play. And I still hadn't completely put out the testing the waters option or draft option at that point. And then from then on there, I went to just try to see because obviously the staff I know, but then again, it's going to be their first year, so things are going to change, and I wasn't sure how that was going to go. But I would have said definitely trusted them to go ahead and do it in a really solid way, and that's what they've been doing the last couple of weeks. But yeah, there was just a lot of considerations from this becoming a pretty new program, I guess, at this point. Like it's a new head coach, new Syracuse, so that was also part of the consideration to compare that to other possibilities that I might get if I go in the portal. But yeah, it wasn't not easy at all. It still isn't. So yeah.
So what ultimately did it for you then? I mean, speaking here with Jesse Edwards, what if it's such a hard decision and you still feel a part of Syracuse and you wanted to stay and it's been tough? What made you go to the portal? What made you not go into the NBA, not go play overseas, not stay at Syracuse? Why are you in the portal?
I mean, it's a tough question. I guess it's just to really see what those options are, because, if you're not in the portal, you can't really see that, you can only guess because you can't talk to anybody. You can't hear from anybody. So you're kind of in the dark of what your other options really are. So that number one. And second of all, like I said, like at the start, then I was also part of whether it was part of the decision, of course, with it being so big at this point. I heard of a couple people that, went in the portal and got certain offers, which were, in my opinion, like kind of like just a lot possibly better at that point. So it's yeah, it's the way it had to work out because it's just like I said, everybody's trying to find out how it works, and I think some places might have just a little advantage or just know a little bit more in that part right now, that department.
So, I mean, you love Syracuse. You've given so much to Syracuse. Did it really come down to the fact that you felt like Syracuse just wasn't prepared enough internationally to help you with your unique NIL situation?
I guess that's the way you can put it for sure. That's one of the factors, yeah, for sure. Because I guess it's something you got to put resources in as a school, but it's not. I'm definitely not saying that it's something that CUSE has to go out and change at this point because it's something that there's a lot of probably other stuff going on, which people find a lot and is probably a lot more important to sports maybe. So it's definitely not something I can comment on in that way because I don't know what the decisions are. So there's probably a lot of hard decisions that need to be made in order to change that, and that's not something I can comment on as it has to change or something like that because I don't know.
Yeah. When you say colleges and universities, might be better than Syracuse at kind of figuring this out. If you had, I mean, are you seeing international players getting NIL deals and they're not breaking any rules with their visa and that? I mean, is that what really did it for you? Is that you're starting to see like, okay, they told us we couldn't do it, but people are doing it, so there's got to be a way for me to do it.
Yeah, like you said before, yeah. I mean, that's the different way. Like this is the same thing, right? Yeah, like just the seeing that it's possible, and then yeah, like just seeing that it's that the public like it is possible, and then trying to find out, what would be possible for me, obviously. So yeah, that is the same. Yeah.
So if there was no NIL in this world, would you still be at Syracuse, or was there enough there to say like, hey,
I don't know, man. Like that's, I mean, if
I know it's a tough question.
yeah. Like I mean, I have no clue. That's my only answer because I have absolutely no clue.
So
at this point, like I think the way college sports is going is just it's changed a lot since I was a freshman. It was just the start of it, and then like I said, I haven't really done anything with it, so I don't like it's just as new to me. But it's it's changing teams, it's changing the way like the transfer portal as a whole. It's just like without having to sit out a year and stuff like.
Yeah.
Every rule change has impacted the way that the environment of college basketball is, or college sports in general, is operating right now. So I think it'll keep changing. There's definitely going to be some rule changes at some point, I guess, from the NCAA to, I don't know, like it's going to. They probably. I have a feeling that they're going to have to do. That they're going to do something at some point. We'll see what it is. But I mean. I think it's for the good because all this time there's been a lot of advertising and making money off of these games and every athlete in the sport, and none of the athletes have been able to. I mean, up till 4 years ago, none of the athletes could gain anything from it. So I think it's a good development. It's at least a fair development for the athletes, and there's just a lot changing, I guess, and that's what everybody's just. It's just very new for everybody in the whole space, so I think that's the best way to describe it.
So when you have that conversation with your family, what did they say to you, or and even just your inner circle, the people that are in that room with you, who's in that room with you, helping you make that decision, and what were they saying? Were they saying, hey, Jesse, next year NBA or we play overseas, you're going to make money, but let's make now, let's do that. I mean, what was the conversation like?
No, I mean, my family's just been supportive. They want me to just go play in a place that makes me happy. It's really like, that's my family. My mom literally only cares about, she just says, are you happy there? Are you, do you have, are you happy with the place you're at? Are you happy with the coach and the staff? Are you this, that, whatever? Like she only cares about if I'm happy. Likewise with my dad, my brothers. They might care about the basketball a little bit more. They care about the sport. But at the end of the day, my family only just supports me, and they would be happy with wherever I went. So for them, it was just a matter of. Seeing what made me like just supporting me in my decision. So they've been great, my family, throughout it.
As we continue this conversation with Jesse Edwards, as he's made this decision to move forward in his extra year created by COVID, has the opportunity to either stay at Syracuse or to go to another program or to put his name in the NBA draft and so on and so forth. You would talk to me a little bit earlier in our conversation here today, Jesse, about, am I going to put my name in the NBA? Am I going to go for it now? Am I going to wait? What made you ultimately not put your name in the NBA draft and in attempt to put yourself out there in workouts and the combine? Why do you believe that waiting and doing it next year was the right decision?
Yeah, it's a good question. Like it's obviously been on my mind. I guess like for every player, the goal, for most players, the goal is to reach an NBA. That's the dream. That's what everybody wants. And it was just a question of like, what's the best way to get there? Is that to go right now, and go for it, or is it to use the platform that is college, and try to get it even better, hopefully an even better, what do you call that, like vantage point, up your stock a little bit more, uh, somewhere, and then take the jump. So it's kind of that was kind of the question. It's just timing, at that point. See what gives you the best opportunity, because it's never going to be a surefire thing for anybody to even think about the NBA. I mean, unless you're whatever, some 5-star out of high school. So you just got to try to find the best time, and go for it then. And that's what we, like, after a lot of discussions, I thought was just to go for one more year.
So for you, knowing that Symir Torrance is in the transfer portal, Joe Girard III is in the transfer portal, Judah
Right.
Mintz's future is in question right now at Syracuse. Did that affect you at all? That if the band's not getting back together, maybe I should look elsewhere. Does that play a role in all this?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I played with Joe for 4 years, right? So, Bull likewise, Cy
Yeah,
for two
both.
years. So like those guys, obviously, those are the guys I've been with the longest. So to see them leave, it was definitely um, like it made me think. Obviously, like when you see all you guys leaving, you wonder if it's time for you too. And then I mean the younger guys that came in last year. Like we've like grown into a family with the whole team, so that made me like want to stay. That was the other reason, that you were like, dang, I got to do this one more time with them. So it was like pulling both sides a little bit. But yeah, no, it definitely had an impact, for sure.
And so, to be clear in closing, before I let you go, Jesse, this wasn't strictly an NIL thing. There was a bunch of factors that went into it. And ultimately, you decided with your family's support that
Mm.
to see what else is out there before you try for the NBA was the right decision.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's exactly right. Because like we first decision was go pro or go later. Second decision is then just where is that platform? Where is that place that you're going to develop for the next step? Hopefully, and be ready to take that jump. That was kind of the whole question for the last whatever it's been since the season ended.
You haven't been in the portal that long. What's life like in the portal? Was it like immediate? Was it like you popped in there and there was like a message? I mean, what is the portal world like?
Portal was so far. It's been a crazy world. I mean, it's just like it is. It wasn't like a second, but it was like it felt like it was only 2 seconds before somebody started calling. It's kind of it's crazy place. Like I feel like you can't be in there too long before you go absolutely crazy. But I mean, on the other side, it's kind of fun. It's just like you're a freshman or like about to be a freshman again. You're just learning about other programs, learning about what's out there, and we'll see. But yeah, it's definitely a crazy house for sure.
And like you said, I mean, you're in there and it's almost immediate. Getting recruited again, do you like it? Do you not like it? Is it anxiety ridden? Is it fun for you? I mean,
I mean both. I guess like it's definitely fun sometimes, because this is somebody texting you or trying to talk to you at every point of the day for sure. Just kind of fun, but on the other hand, like I said, you can't do it for too long because it's a lot. It's constantly either responding or getting something or whatever. So it's kind of both. It's kind of both for me.
Can you lead me into, are you getting calls from all over the country? Are you getting the calls you thought you would get? Are you getting ones that you didn't thought that are pleasant surprise? Like, what can you tell me of the pedigree of the schools that have reached out?
I've been like honored for a lot of the the big names that have reached out so far. There's been East Coast, I think a couple from the West Coast, mid like all over. It's been kind of all over. So I have no clue how they heard of me or whatever. But like it's been an honor to get like messages from all these different schools and coaches. Which is, like I said, fun, but also a lot of reacting, a lot of new considerations. Yeah, no, it's been cool for sure.
2 final points. What do you want to say to Syracuse fans?
Q's fans, I just want to say thank you. Like I said in my message on Instagram, they're the most amazing fans I've ever witnessed. Like I've been with Q's. I've traveled all over the ACC, March Madness, wherever we've been, and every single time there's Q's fans. Like wherever you were, there's orange in the crowd, and out here you guys are just being super supportive of like whatever we do, and we just like I hope I've at least brought some good times in my time here. So I just want to say thank you. Really, it's been an amazing ride.
And the final point, whoever gets you in the transfer portal, what are they getting? If you wanted the world to know as you get re-recruited what Jesse Edwards is going to bring to their team immediately to help them get better from day one of this new season, what are they getting when they get you?
I mean, this offseason I'm looking to improve my game on make it to a new level. I don't know if you can still hear me?
Yeah, I can see.
I'm just trying to build off what I have, like I've been trying to do each year. So I'm not gonna change everything up out of nowhere. I'm just gonna do what I've been doing, trying to be as dominant as I can inside on the boards, on the basket, around the rim, or whatever I can do on offense or defense. But I'm trying to come out as a better version of myself with a lot of work on pick and roll defense, a lot of work on some outside shooting this year to bring that into the mix, and get stronger. Like I've been trying to do every year. I just keep building on every pound I put on. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think I can take that step and hopefully improve to that next level.
And coming from Jesse Edwards, spent a lot of years here with Syracuse, has one more season of eligibility. He will decide to go into that transfer portal, which he has, and he will find a new home. Jesse, as always, I love covering your story. I told you wherever you go, I will be there in some way, shape, or form, and at the same time, follow you through this process. So I look forward to, as you get news and narrow things down and things that happen, I hope you'll come back on the show, let me know, because we have a friendship beyond the game that I appreciate more than anything. And I love telling your story, but more than anything else, I love the fact that we have a friendship. And the second part of that is I love that I will always be able to dunk a basketball because you can pick me up. So, but thank
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you for everything as always, brother. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. This is a special message from 317 at Montgomery restaurant owner Joel Carpenter. Open Tuesday through Saturday for your dining pleasure on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York.
We wanted to be a part of the resurgence of Syracuse. We saw a lot of money being put into bringing people back downtown and thought that, we'd like to be a part of that. I love putting together a good dish where people see it first, they fall in love with it, and then it tastes just as good as it looks. We want to provide the best food in Syracuse that we possibly can, and we want you to leave here talking to your family, your friends about what you had to eat first and foremost, but also our service, and to walk out feeling like you're part of our family. I work out in the front of the house a lot, and I love walking to every single table, asking them how everything is, and people looking at me and smiling and saying, this is the most amazing short rib I've ever had. This is the most amazing filet I've ever had. And Donna is great. Sarah's amazing. Thank you for coming over and talking to us. And then them just being truly happy for the experience that they've gotten.
317 at Montgomery Restaurant, part of the fabric of downtown Syracuse, located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday for a unique and memorable dining experience. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports meets life. I want to once again thank Jesse Edwards for the time that he took to tell his story in a way that is his truth. It was him saying it, nobody else saying it. It was him sharing the story, his why, and breaking down the decision. He has given a lot over many years to Syracuse, to the community, to Central and Upstate New York. And I believe that the best thing to do with Jesse for anybody out there is to wish him well, wish him the best, want to see him succeed, and understand that he's a good guy. And he's been phenomenal to me. So I pray him the best. It's hard to not see him in orange, but I know wherever he goes, he's going to wear that jersey well, because Jesse is something special and he's only gotten better. So thank you again, Jesse, for allowing me the opportunity to tell your story in a way that broke down the walls and allowed it to just be a real moment. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate everybody that's let me do that. With that being said, here inside of MonPawsPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', I have the opportunity every single Wednesday to bring you our Dolphin Time. Every first and third Wednesday of each month, bringing you AD and DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. Every second and fourth Wednesday, the Dolphin Dive, diving into the stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. And in today's Dolphin Dive, Joe Tesori joins me here, the head coach of the men's and women's golf teams on the Heights at Moyne College. And I'm happy to have him on for the first time. Joe, how are you?
Yeah, I'm absolutely sensational. How are you?
Doing well, Joe. I like your sarcasm. I appreciate it. So how's life out on the golf course? I know that you're out there in Pompey right now as well, so I'm sure life looks very beautiful in Central New York right now.
Well, Pompey is one of the highest places in Onondaga County, so we're looking down on everybody else, and it's just the sun's closer to us, up here. So it's a beautiful day. We got a bunch of your league going out right now, and everybody's smiling and happy right now. It's good. Everything's good.
And Joe, for you, I mean, this sport of golf and the passion that you've had for it, where did it start? When can you kind of go back in your history and speak on that first moment or two where you really took to golf and got interested in it in your history?
My dad was a good golfer. This goes back about, I'm 74, so this was 69 years ago. And he was out hitting balls and took me along one afternoon, and I had a little baseball glove, and he just started chipping towards me, and I started catching them, and that went on a couple times, and he cut down a club, and he didn't use real balls then for me to hit them, but little plastic balls, and so it just got to be fun just all around. And for the practice, he'd give me my little club and a shovel, and I'd go in the sand bunker and just have fun and then putt around. And so I was 5 years old, and everything I did was, spending time with my dad on a golf course, and running around, and it was great. That's where it started. Endicott, New York, a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm hard to believe to say something like this, but almost 7 decades ago that started for you. I mean, over the last 7 decades, this sport has continued to be a part of your life. Why has golf survived the test of time and always been a part of you?
Like life, it's unpredictable. There's many, many highs. There's a bunch of lows. It's like life. You learn a lot. You learn about others. It's often been more about a person spending 4 hours with them on a golf course than you could 10 years working with them. There's just a lot of things going on, and it's a passion. There's a passion in the game that I love. I just love that you can have your best day, and you know it can be better. You know, it's not a game of perfect, but it's a game you can really be passionate about. You get to meet so many different types of people, and then sort of obviously getting into coaching, you can make a difference with people. You can share what your love for the game is, and I like to tell people, I mean, heck, my office is outside. How much better can it get, you know?
Yeah.
I don't have many bad days, so it's just trying to spread what you feel for it onto others. And been pretty successful with that, so it's okay.
And you talk about that, you know, paying it forward and getting into coaching in that respect. What made you ultimately be open to coaching and to explore that element of the game?
Like I said, my dad he worked for IBM, and, you know, great recreational things down in Endicott. It was back in the 50s and 60s. There was Endicott Johnson Shoes had their own golf course, which is Enjoy, which has been hosting some sort of tour event for 50 years. IBM had 2 courses. Cost $1 a year to play if you were a family member. So I was always around golf. My dad was an official and a coach. So he coached me in like Little League and Pop Warner. And when I was a senior in high school, I helped him coach. And then, you know, helped a little. When I got out of Lemoyne, helped a little. My coach, Mike Bello, I helped him a little. And then the opportunity at Jamesville DeWitt, actually coaching football back in the 80s. I coached playing little Pop Warner, and I coached right through high school. And then golf, Jamesville DeWitt, we started a girls' golf team there about 30 years ago. And I just love it. And then Coach Rockwell, who was the AD at Lemoyne about 18 years ago, was a fellow that was coaching, had a young family and couldn't continue. And he said, "You want to do it?" And I said, "It'd be a privilege." So it started over a lunch date with the coach, Rockwell, who was the AD. And here I am. It's been great. It's been a great ride. Still is a great ride.
What keeps you in it? Like you said, after all these years, what keeps you coming back and wanting to coach and wanting to lead and wanting to be a part of it?
To make a difference. To make a difference in these young women and young men that are just great students at Lemoyne. We're very fortunate to have Lemoyne College just be a great institution. I mean, I'm an alumnus. My son's an alumnus. I tell recruits, you know, you're going to see somebody waving the flag for, they should have a Dolphin flag, I guess. But, you know, I love Lemoyne, and it helped me become who I am with the education. And so when we go out and recruit these young men and women, I mean, we're getting the prime academic kids, and then they have a passion for golf. And, you know, I can help them. I can help them deal with the good days, and I can help them deal with the bad days. And it's just, I'm trying to make a difference. And that's it. Bring a smile to somebody's face, then that's a good day. And I've had a lot of good days.
Speaking here with Joe Tesori this morning, and very heartfelt and a wonderful conversation with the men's and women's golf coach here on the Heights at Lemoyne College. And you just, for the men's side of things, Joe finished off over the weekend the Mike Bello Invitational at Sunset Ridge Golf Club in Marcellus, and the team finished first of 7 on both days. Just bring me into that, April 9th and April 10th. I mean, a great invitational, great opportunity, and Lemoyne finished atop everyone in those two opportunities each had.
We have a nice young team. We've got a good blend. We got some seniors. We got some freshmen. We won one tournament in the fall at Post University, and we've only played once this year, and that was down in Florida, and probably one of the premier division country, sponsored by Barry University, a 7-time in. They're ranked in the country. And we go down there, and we usually get slapped around by, I think there were 6 out of the top 20 teams in the country there. But it toughens us up, and Johnny Gruninger, a junior a sophomore, finished in the top 9 out of about 80 players and beat half a dozen guys ranked in the top 40 in the country. So it was a good experience for us, and having a home match, not that we play links at Sunset Ridge a lot, but kids that played it there in junior golf, and Johnny won that, but with 73, we played really good, but we're on the road to Indiana University of Pennsylvania this weekend. Then NCAA's coming up in a couple of weeks, so we got our work ahead of us. But a win is a win, and that just gives us just the reaffirmation that we got something special going here, and we're just going to go see if we can get to nationals again.
Yeah, you have that on the men's side, and on the women's side, some recent success here at the end of March in the Cardinal Classic, Catholic University Black Rose Golf Course in Hagerstown, Maryland's first of 6 and second of 6 on those 2 days, on a Saturday and Sunday. And I know that recently you had the Dr. Edwin Cottrell Invitational as well at Westchester University of Pennsylvania, and you have something coming up with the Millersville Invitational. Just what you could say about the women's team and what they've been able to do over these last few months.
Well, these girls have given everything they have to give. They are a special group. Mia in Pinehurst down at Gannon's tournament, she came in. She made all tournament team and won at Catholic University. She won at Millersville. So she wins this week. That's 3 in a row. That's not bad. But, we've got a great team, some good freshmen. We've got 2 seniors, Ellie Manisha from Oswego, that'll be her last tournament. And Megan McKean, who's a graduate student, and she is just a blessing for our team. She's almost like a second coach, and she's got graduate studies, and she's a scholar athlete, as is Ellie. And I couldn't be luckier to have these girls representing Lemoyne, and we might get a victory this week. We were close at Catholic, and the home team came up and dipped us a little bit, but we're going to be ready, and it's a joy to coach the women. It's a little different dynamic, but it's as much a blessing as coaching the men.
And a final note here is we're here with Joe Tesori, the head coach of the men's and women's golf teams at Lemoyne on the Heights, here inside of this edition of Dolphin Dive on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Coaching the men now for heading toward 20 years, what made you want to take over the women's program and have both of them? What made you feel like it was something that you wanted to dive into at this point in your career? And what have been your kind of reflection on it since you've done it?
My daughter was in 8th grade. She's going to Jamesville DeWitt. She wanted to play golf. So I went to James, the athletic director. I said, how come you don't have a girls' golf team? he said, well, she can play on the boys' team. I said, it'd be great, but she's not a boy. I want a girls' team. We don't have a coach. Well, I'll coach. Well, you can't coach. You don't teach here. I said, well, I got 4 or 5 girls that I teach over at CBA. Why don't we just join? And he goes, let's do it. So that's how my passion for just getting girls involved. And we won like 4 sectional titles the next 4 years. And they finally decided to split us up. And that's how it started at JD. And we've been very successful there. I have great support from the family and the district. So when Coach Rockwell asked if I'd take over the men, I said, I'd love to, Rock, but I'll only do it if you have a women's team. You got to have a women's team. And he goes, well, I don't have a coach. I said, hire me, you got a coach. Well, I can't pay you. I said, Rock, for what you're paying me, it doesn't really make that much difference. You know, it's not like I'm getting rich off of this. It's what I want to do. We have to have a women's program. And so that's how it started. We were a club team a couple of years, and I got a young local golfer who's not in the area anymore, but Steve Serling, to take us into the NCAAs, and Steve was just a great addition to us. And then we had a couple of past players take over for the women, and got some good players in here, and, you know, they had another job, so they came to me and they said, would you like to do both? And I said, sure, I started it. I may as well keep going. So that's how it started, and it's been an absolute blessing.
I appreciate that. And I love it. And I love the fact that, you know, I mean, Joe, you can tell from this conversation your passion. You can tell your desire. And what I appreciate, especially with Katie Kalinski coming up in just a couple minutes here on Wake Up Call, it's leading perfectly in, is you saying, hey, you know, you got a men's team, you have to have a women's team. I want there to be a women's team. And you advocating for that, you know, back in time before it was politically correct, before there was, you know, different things that are going on today. You wanted that. Why did you have such a desire to say, hey, you have a men's team, but I want there to be a women's team? You got to have both. Why? I know you talked about, you know, your daughter and all of that. Was that the main reason, kind of like reflecting in her and saying, you know, there's got to be something for women because I'm raising, you know, my little girl and I want to see this? Or was there another, you know, piece to it that you felt like you had to advocate for women?
I was at Syracuse University's facility for 30 years, Drumlins. We were, for years, the only one that had women golf pros. At one time, I had 3 women on my staff teaching. We were the first one to have a minority golf pro. I think we're still maybe the only one that's ever had a minority golf pro in upstate, in Syracuse, New York. There may be another one, I'm not sure. You look around, we're a melting pot. New York. There may be another one, I'm not sure. You know, Peter Weber, who was my boss at Drumlin, said, I want this golf course to reflect, when we go outside, who we see. We see women, we see white, we see black, we see yellow. Let's do this. And I did. And it's the right thing to do. And I just wish more people would understand that. It's the right thing to do. And if you do it, and you know it's the right thing to do, you're going to live a happy life. And I don't know that there's anybody that's had a better life than me. I'm just the luckiest guy in the world to do this. I'm going to keep doing it.
Joe Tesori here with us this morning. Joe, like I said before, Lemoyne, men's and women's head golf coach, and I know it's the first time I've had you here on the show, but I'm moved by your story. I'm moved by everything you're saying, and I agree I agree with it all. And I think it's a beautiful thing of what you're doing. I mean, I feel that if people didn't know, hopefully this morning they know that there's something truly special here in the story that you have, in the person that you are, and what you're building. So much more than a golf coach, and so much more than just somebody who's, helping student athletes move forward. You're doing a lot of great things in our community that go above and beyond what I think the average person goes out and does every day. And I really don't have the perfect words to say thank you, but thank you for what you're doing, Joe, because from afar, I talked with Barbaretta about you and kind of, what you're about. And when he said you were taking over the women's program and all those parts to it, but to actually get to know you a little bit better here on the show, I can only say to you, it's provoked me to look forward to talking with you plenty more times. I'd love to come out and spend some time as well, because you truly have been a treasure to this community, and I think people should know that, and I appreciate you for that.
Dan, thanks for having me on the show. It's been a pleasure for me to be here and talk about my beloved alma mater and the game of golf. And I love what you're doing for sports and for Moyne College. And anytime you need somebody to fill some time, you can count on me. I love it.
Yeah, never be to fill time, Joe. Always to be to showcase. So thank you for your time. I love what you said, though. You said, I don't know if anybody's had a better life than mine. It's a great outlook, and I'm happy that you're positive. We need to hear more of that in today's world. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing it. Go enjoy the day, because it's beautiful out there, and I look forward to talking with you soon.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. Take care now.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
See you. That coming from Joe Tesori once again, and wow. I mean, wow. It's isn't it beautiful to hear people be positive? Isn't it beautiful to hear people love their job? Isn't it beautiful to hear people do the right thing because they believe in doing the right thing and not because they were told to do the right thing? Isn't it beautiful when humanity does something so wonderful, and we can sit here, we could talk about it? So many people focus on the negative. My Twitter feed this morning, the top stories on the right-hand side, it's like negative, it's every day. And I'm not singling out Twitter. It's just, this is what people focus on. And here's Joe Tesori bringing us positive. The reinforcement of good, the reinforcement of kindness, generosity, belief, equality, understanding, opportunity. Somebody who loves his job, just loves it every day. I don't know if anyone's had a better life than me. If that's not a quote, I have no idea what is. We'll take a step aside for a fast break, and when we come back, I am again moved this morning with Jesse Edwards, then Joe Tesori in our Dolphin Dive special and our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Moyne. And now I get to welcome one of my closest, nearest, dearest friends to talk about where sports meets life, which is what Joe and I just did. Where sports meets life, the true embodiment of that, as we discuss parenting, being a single parent, coaching, and everything that is in between, and everything that's gone along with it. Katie Kalinski joins me for an amazing, amazing portion of Wake Up Call. Because when you have good people on, good things happen. Katie's coming up next. Stay with us.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you? This is a special message from Merritt Brady, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York.
Chick-fil-A for me has always been about the people. I think it starts with the strength and leadership of the Cathy family. It's just amazing to see a family-run business reach the altitude that they have. Second mile service is something that we embodied at my previous business, and the ability to make people feel like they're the only person at your establishment, that you are there to serve them that day and looking for those extra ways to make them happy, to anticipate what they need next is what makes me tick. And I'm going to have so many opportunities at Chick-fil-A to do that. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. My favorite application question or interview question when I'm interviewing is when I get to, have you ever eaten at Chick-fil-A? And a smile hits both their ears. You know, they can't even answer the question for a second. And when I see that, it's like, man, that's going to be a great hire. They already get it. They already feel it. They already know that we're different. The Chick-fil-A experience, it's a real thing. And then, of course, just our generosity and community involvement and making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, our guests, and the community in general, I think is really the secret sauce.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports meets life. Thanks for being with us around the country and the world on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/live-now-dt, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. Once these shows go live, they jump into the archives, and you can catch them on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. MixLR, Podbean, Podvine, Player FM, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, and more. It's just a really long way of saying that we're hard to miss. And you can look up Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, on any one of those podcasting platforms. And you can go to a search engine and search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and you could just look up my last name. You'll find us all over the place. And I appreciate all the wonderful places that have allowed us to tell our story through their platforms to the world. So thank you for that. Speaking of telling a story, it is always my pleasure to have Katie Kalinski on the show. We're picture-in-picture today. Katie's been on the show many times for many years. She's one of my reoccurring guests because she is one of my favorite people. If she wasn't a basketball coach, still would be one of my favorite people. She's got a good soul. She's got a good heart. She works her tail off, and she does something in this world that has nothing to do with basketball, but is almost impossible to do at times, which is to be a good person with morals, values, and kindness in the middle of a storm. So with that being said, I welcome in the only person that got to sit next to me when the Toronto Raptors won a championship in 2019. And no, we're not happy that they turned down the volume on Kawhi Leonard, who never speaks. But when the confetti flew, Katie Kalinski was the hug that I got. So with that being said, let me bring in one of the best in the biz, Lafayette Leopards women's basketball assistant coach, going into year 5 and year 13 overall. Miss Kolinski, how are we?
Dan, I always appreciate the introduction. I think it's always way too kind, but, as you know, we became friends, and, you and I just try to be good people. We try to help others. And I think that's really important in this life. And even when people can't see it, I think you still got to have a good heart, even though, things are always going to be happening to you, but you just got to keep persevering, and, you just try to be a good person to people. So.
Yeah, the reality of it all is what they say, everybody can be good with the cameras on. It's the people that are good when nobody's watching. So
Exactly. I always say too, Dan, the truth always comes to light.
everything, they say it any way you want to say it, the truth comes out in the wash. I tell people all the time, I literally look people in the face and I say, I dare you to do something behind my back. Because God always goes, oh, Dan, while you were sleeping, this happened. I just figured that you should know. So, and I say Dan sleeping, and those two words don't typically go together, because if you also know Katie Kalinski and myself, we are the ones texting at 2:00 in the morning, having a full-blown conversation about a game or something going on. So we got a lot of stuff to unpack, a lot of things to get into. But I said in the intro, this is year 5 at Lafayette. This is year 13 overall, 7 seasons with the Syracuse Orange men's basketball team. By the way, unheard of, not a normal thing to see a woman on the bench of a men's basketball team, especially for that long, Katie. So I think that people need to know when they're around you as young as you are that there's a lot of history in what you did at Syracuse and a year at Buffalo. So bring me through 13 years and year 5 with Lafayette.
Yeah, I think, the landscape of basketball right now is really crazy. It's hard to keep jobs. It's hard to have jobs. The pressure from, administrators, schools, fans, to win games, so I'm grateful to still be in the business, still have a job. I can't believe I'm year 5 at Lafayette. We've had some really good, we had one really good winning season here, which was the first in 30 years. I think we would have had another winning season if we didn't have COVID year and we didn't even have a non-conference. I think if we played a normal schedule, I think we would have been a top, 4 team in the league that year. In this last year, we had injuries. We had 6 to 7 healthy players, so won 2 games with 6 or 7. And we got everyone coming back next year, besides one senior. So I think we're going to have a good season. We got 4 good freshmen coming in. We got 2 all-league Patriot League players coming back. And we're really excited about the future. And, we've just been getting after it with workouts right now and, recruiting. We might add another player out of the portal. Everyone's been talking about the portal. So, yeah, a lot of good things. I'm grateful, just to have a head coach that believes in me and is supporting me and allowing me to be a mom, and a coach. So, I'm definitely at a good spot.
Yeah, and I know that your journey is, taking you to different places, as we talked about, and then you become a mom amidst all of this.
Yeah.
Navigating that has been interesting, and I've had the opportunity to see it on a more personal and real level. And Kaya Bean she's something. So, and by the way, when you post pictures of her, how did she go from 1 to 13? Like, what happened? So, I mean, I guess my question to you is, I guess they really do grow up fast, and just what that looks like before your eyes. And at the same time, what it's been like, because it is so hard to be a parent, let alone a single parent and a coach and everything that you do. And beyond all that, you're always there for people. I mean, I could say as a friend, you've never, I know they say don't use double negatives, but you've never not been there for me. There's never been a time where I've texted you or called you where you haven't been there, giving me advice, probably on 1 hour of sleep, holding Kaya in your arms, checking out film, and texting me. I don't know how you do it, but I shout you out for it, because there's not a lot of people that are friends like you, and you have the excuses, but you've never given me one excuse.
No, I appreciate that. I think I just try not to change. I think, being a mom, it's easy to forget yourself a lot and just, put all your time into that, and then coaching, and the players need everything. And, you got to balance it all. I'd be lying if I said it was easy. I reflected after this year and I was like, man, she's about to be 3, and I've done this for 3 years now. And sometimes I wonder how I do it. I'd be lying, like, if I said it was easy, like I said. It's very hard. Every day I got to plan her meals. I got to plan picking her up from daycare. I got to plan out my whole schedule around her with practice. We have practice from 4 to 6 or 6 to 8 at night. So that means the daycare is not open during that. So I got to find someone to watch her during practice. She comes to practice, things like that. And, figuring out road trips and, her coming, can someone watch her at the game there? And, then I go home and I got recruit calls. I got Zoom calls for recruits, and, I got scouts to break down, and then we go recruiting, and, doing it on my own, it's hard, but it's rewarding. Her smile every day, like, she really keeps me going, because at the end of the day, like, I got to put food on the table for her, and I got obviously other things that are stressors in my life. And, but that's where I go back to, God knows. And, God knows that, I try to be the best mom I can be. I try to do right by everyone, and I try to do right by her, what's right for her. And, I kind of like block out all the other noise, and I just try to be the best coach I can, try to be the best mentor I can for our players. And, I don't always have it together. I don't pretend that I do either. But at the end of the day, I just try to be myself, and just try to do the best I can. And that's, I think she'll be appreciative of that when she's older. I hope she can say, hey, my mom did it. My mom didn't quit. My mom didn't give up her dreams and move back to Syracuse. And, after I worked for 7 years at Syracuse to even get an opportunity in this business. I don't want to be that person that says, I just gave it up. It was too hard. Life is hard. Pick your hard. So I think it's never going to be easier. So I'm going to continue to fight out my dream of coaching. I'm going to continue to be in this industry. And, I'm going to rock with it. And I hope she'll come along with me and just be happy that she can say her mom tried to make it happen for her. So that's kind of been my mindset recently. So.
Well, you said a lot of things there, Katie. And, one of the things you said is I try not to change. And you haven't. From the time that we really started to talk, which was in Omaha, Nebraska. And I remember catching you in the hallway and being like, hey, hell of a season.
Was I crying?
And that's why I told you I appreciate it. I remember exactly where you were standing, because I think I might have been coming out of the locker room. You were coming this way. And we talked then. We kept in touch. We've kept in touch all of these years. And, I've seen you on the staff at Syracuse. I've seen you before you were a mom. I've seen you when you were pregnant. I've seen you now that you have Kaya, now that she's about to be 3. So I've had the opportunity over the years to see Katie Kalinski in a bunch of different settings, and I can say you haven't changed. I think you might not agree with me on this. You might be humble with this, and it's hard when you're in the storm to see it, but I think you've gotten stronger. I think that the shoulder weight is getting a little lighter in a way, whether or not you see that. I think God's going to be helping pick that stuff up. I think he's been there the whole time. But I feel like you've gotten stronger. You have been consistent. You've been awesome. You've kept a sense of humor. You said something. You said, pick your hard. And that's such a poetic way to put it, is, pick it, right? Because if you chase your dreams, there's going to be adversity. If you don't chase your dreams, there's going to be adversity. But I would rather get punched in the mouth in love with what I do than get punched in the mouth and go, I don't like this place. I don't like these people. I don't like this environment. So like you said, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep pushing, and I'm going to be sitting there. I'm going to be sitting there at that really awesome dinner. I'm going to wear the best suit that I got when Kaya steps up there and she says the story about her mom and what my mom did for us, for me. When you get up there and you accept something, and I will cry that day, and I'm going to love that. And if you'll let me, at the end of your speech, when you pause, I'm going to laugh like Kawhi Leonard in the crowd.
That's funny. But no, for sure. I appreciate that. I think, that's what, she's my why. She keeps me going. She keeps me motivated. It's not easy. It's not easy, co-parenting. It's not easy, navigating that with distance. It's not easy going through the court system. I'm not going to talk too much about the court system, but, that's where I kind of say, the truth will come to light with that kind of stuff. I've known I've done the right thing. I've tried to do the right thing. And, it's just more things that are there to push you down and, get you off your track. And, if you just do the right thing and you pray about it and, don't let things stress you out like that, and on top of all that, I'm being a single mom and I'm coaching and I'm doing everything else. So I think that's been a big, heavy piece on me. But I'm excited, just for the truth to come out and just be the best I can be and just know I'm doing the right thing, for Kaya all the time. So,
yeah,
it's not easy though.
No, it's not. It's not. But, like I said, yeah, I'm a key witness in the thing if I need to be, because I know what you've been all these years. And honestly, Katie, I don't think I've ever said, I might have said this to you once, but I don't know if I've said it like this. There were days where I leaned on you where I felt like I was going to fall over, and I lean on you. And I remember one of the times, I remember the restaurant I was at. I remember being on the phone with you while I was setting something up. And I was on the verge of like, I want to cry. I want to scream. I don't understand. And you were on the phone with me and you were just giving me advice, giving me positive feedback, building me up, pushing me. You know who you are. You made me laugh. And I didn't forget that. And, yeah, we're going to talk about basketball today. And we're going to talk about a bunch of things, but the tagline for Wake Up Call is where sports meets life. And Wake Up Call is not called Wake Up Call because it's in the morning. It's called Wake Up Call because that's what it's meant to be for me, for you, for people that are watching and listening. So I think I love the fact that you share your story and you talk with me about all this stuff beyond basketball, because you are a good person and good people rise. We don't think we're going to, and then we forget. It's like years later and it's like, you forgot you had that problem. You're on to the next. But like you said, stop, smell the roses, know the truth will come out, know that, reality will set in eventually, and I tell people all the time, you could say whatever you want to say about what you did or didn't do to this shirt, but I see the stain on it when I go to put it in the wash, and it always comes out.
I've been saying that. I've been saying that a lot, and I think it puts everything in perspective because, I have my nights where I cry, I have my nights where I'm, just trying to fight through, I'm stressed about money. I'm stressed about putting food on the table. I'm stressed about everything else, paying lawyers, doing this and that. But I think, at the end of the day, it could be worse. I got a roof over my head. I got a beautiful daughter. I have a great job, and I'm really just trying to work through a lot of that emotional stuff just to find my happiness, and I hope everyone else can do that too, just see that there are better days ahead. And that's what I've been finding the last month or so, just finding my happiness again. And, you just got to pray on things and you got to lean on your friends, right, Dan? I lean on you all the time too. You help me through a lot of my stuff. So I think you just got to find people and outlets and, just try to find the good in things and good in people. So that's kind of where I've been at with, recently.
One of the only messages that I will answer no matter what time of day it is. I'm like, who's buzzing on my phone? Oh, that's Katie. I got this. So so we got a lot of stuff to unpack, a lot of things.
I know, we could talk for hours about life.
Yeah, we can. And that's why we're Sports Meets Life. We're doing exactly that. So here on Wake Up Call inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios.
I'm a mom when I got Buzz Lightyear in my office.
I'll tell you, and one of the craziest things Disney ever pulled off, and I don't think people realize this, as we have this discussion, is Disney could make a movie about a toy that exists and bring it to life and make you want to buy it again. When Disney made Toy Story, they made movies about toys that didn't exist and made you want to buy the fictional toys, to the point where Disney created the toys so the movie came before the toy. And now when kids grow up, like Kaya growing up now, she thinks Buzz Lightyear and Woody are on the shelf at Toys R Us. But when we were growing up, they weren't. Disney actually Tarantino'd the game, and they made the movie before the toy and made you want the toy from the movie. I mean, sheer genius is all I'm going to say. Genius. So I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they. I mean, I get a little secret sauce. I got a little bit of that in me. But to get into a lot of different things that are going on that we're going to unpack today, I do want to jump into the fact that the Lafayette Leopards women's basketball team made history back in 2021 with the WNBA when the Seattle Storm made a selection 35th overall, and Natalie Kolinski went on to their team after having many accolades at Lafayette, Patriot League Player of the Year in 2020-21, Defensive Player of the Year, All Patriot League First Team Selection, and finished with 1,415 points, 1,197 career rebounds, and obviously within these last 5 years, you were there for that. So what can you tell me about Natalie, and what was it like to celebrate as a program, as a school, and as a community when Natalie made history as the first ever Lafayette Leopard to be drafted to the WNBA?
Yeah, I think she's actually the only second draftee in our league. So, as a coach, seeing her development, her work ethic, the pros will find you. If you're good enough, they'll find talent. It doesn't matter what league you're in. And I think people sleep on the Patriot League a little bit. We are a great league. We have a lot of good players. When people got the extra COVID year in our league, a lot of players went Power 5. A lot of Power 5 were taking our kids, and that's just a testament to the Patriot League. And Natalie was one of the best players I've been around. I think she could have played one more year and played at a Power 5. She was that good. One of the best rebounders I've ever been around, men or women. She would just go get it. I think she left our program as all-time leading rebounder, all-time leading rebounder in the Patriot League history. She led the nation, I think, in rebounding, maybe top 2 or 3, maybe 1. So it was awesome to see her get drafted, her dreams, go to Seattle. She didn't make the team. There's limited roster spots, but she's been playing overseas ever since then, making her money. And the best part about this is, did she have NIL while she was here? No, but she's going to fall back on an engineering degree. So, you can make your quick money, your 4 years in college, but degrees like this from Lafayette, you're going to have that for a lifetime. And, you're going to be making well over $100,000 a year within 5-10 years leaving Lafayette. So, it's kind of perspective. I didn't realize the importance of a Lafayette degree, Patriot League degree, Ivy League degree until I got here. And it just opened so many doors that you can't even imagine, even more so than me going to Syracuse. So I think, like I said, she'll fall back on that when she's done playing overseas, and she can go have a great overseas career. And, she was just a great person to be around. And, I was really proud of her, being around her. And she was great to Kaya. We still stay in contact all the time. She's always calling me. So, I was really proud of her for sure.
Yeah. What I mean? It's awesome, that history. You were talking about the fact that the team is coming back, right? So any adversity that you've been through this past season, adversity, if you have the right people and they deal with it the right way, you have the right leadership, the right personal responsibility, the right morals, values, and foundation built, then those losses turn into victories. Why do you feel like this team is going to flip the script when they come back together?
Yeah, I don't think it can get much worse or, harder than it was this year. We hit so many bumps in the road. Like, we would get healthy, we'd win a game, and then the next day in practice, someone would go down with another end of the season injury. And it's like, holy cow, like every other day, you didn't know what was going to happen. And, we dealt with death this year. We dealt with a lot of different things. And I think when people can overcome things like that, I think, it makes you stronger. And now going into next season, we know what to expect. We're going to have a full roster. And I really think the kids are going to come together next year and have a good year. I really do. I think our non-conference is set up for that. I think our conference schedule will be set up for that. And, you got to go through these hard days to be able to become, on top. So I'm confident going into next season.
Yeah, and like you said, the Patriot League, the teams that are within the Patriot League, they don't get, and it's not just with women's basketball, it's in general. I mean, you look at, for goodness sakes, what, and he's a guest on the show all the time, men's basketball, Matt Langle on his side for Colgate. I got a really good buddy who's like a little brother to me, Daniel Booby Santiago, who plays on the football team at Holy Cross. When you go down the line here, American put together some good work toward the end of the season. You got Army West Point, you have Navy for everything but football, Boston University, Bucknell, who's made some hay in the past. I mentioned Colgate and Holy Cross, of course, Lehigh, who
our crosstown rival.
Yeah, and then you got Loyola Maryland, and then you have the Lafayette Leopards, and obviously talking with their assistant coach for women's basketball right now, Katie Kalinski. The Patriot League is a fun league. I've had the commissioner on the show. Like, I enjoy what this league brings. And like you said, the education of it and what you're going to take from that, okay, NIL, this, that, whatever, quick money. But you go into the Patriot League and you go into these schools, we're talking about lifetime money, which is a different type of thing.
It's a different type of money. Let me tell you that much. I don't know about that, but I know from our kids. So it's definitely different.
So to look at the overall picture and we look at the NCAA tournament, I've had this conversation now. I mean, and you know this, but I've covered women's basketball since I started my career in 2003. So with MU Courtside, we did men's and women's basketball. I did it before it was popular. I did it before it was politically correct. I did it before people made people do it. So I love the game because I love basketball. Watching this year's women's basketball tournament, if people didn't watch it, they didn't miss good women's basketball. They missed great basketball. No man, no woman, just basketball. Caitlin Clark didn't get good at the end of the season. She was good. Dawn Staley didn't become pretty cool as a coach in recent history. She's been pretty darn good. And we look at some of these other coaches and these other pieces, and I mean, Kim Mulkey, 2 years at LSU, got a championship, but she's got 3 total beyond that. So now she has 4.
And as a player.
Yeah, and so you look at it and say she's only behind Pat Summitt, who has 8, and Gino Auriemma, who has 11. So now we start talking about that. Then we start talking about Angel Reese and 34 double-doubles in a season. Never happened before in history. Go back to Caitlin Clark, 8 threes in a championship game. Never happened before in Division I women's basketball. Over 180 points scored in the postseason alone. Some people don't score 180 points in a season, let alone a career. She does it in the postseason, never been done before. Back-to-back 40-point games, never been done before. Iowa never made the championship. LSU never made the championship. LSU never won a championship. So there's all of this going on, but what about all the history? What about all the records? What about the lives that have been forever changed? The NIL deals that are going to come from this? What about the coaches that are going to be etched in history forever? They might be signing their extensions. What about the players that put themselves in the WNBA or will put themselves in the WNBA? These games in this women's tournament, and it's been happening for years, we just haven't seen it on television like we have the last few years. I would love for you to tell me where you feel like women's basketball is at currently and what this NCAA tournament did, because I will say this a million times if I have to, and a million times more. I didn't watch good women's basketball. I watched great basketball coming from a kid who's been playing ball and was handed one when I was 3 years old. I watched great basketball. I don't care if you're a man, a woman, a donkey, an elephant. That basketball was some good hoops. And I would love for you to talk about it.
Yeah, I'll start with saying, obviously I got to go to the Final Four, and I spent time with, Nancy Lieberman and learning about the history of, the people that really started it. It was her. We were with Simone Augustus. We were with Cheryl Miller, just around really good players, and just hearing their stories and hearing the Pat Summitt stories. And, you got to give those people their flowers first. I don't want to ever stop talking about the history of the game because I don't think it's talked about enough. I don't even think our girls currently know much about the history of the game like they should. So I think those are the players that kind of started it for us, the Ann Myers of the world. So I think they need to get their flowers for allowing us to have the platform we have now for it. And I think, Breanna Stewart and them, they kept it going, her winning 4 national championships. And then this year, I think, the Breanna Stewarts, the Diana Taurasi's, the Sue Birds and them. And now this year, it was just fun. It was a lot of parity in basketball now. It's not just one team dominating, and you didn't know who was going to win. They were down to the wire. LSU almost lost the game if old girl didn't miss 2 free throws, airballed it. So it was just fun to watch. And I was supposed to leave before the championship game, and I ended up going for a half. And I didn't want to miss my flight because I just wanted to watch Caitlin Clark again in person. I mean, she is fun to watch, and Angel Reese is fun to watch, and Kim Mulkey, man, she's just great. She's a great coach. She's a great motivator. And game plan against Iowa, I thought was really good. But that's why I watch the games to see the game plans, how they stop certain players, their tendencies. I asked Simone Augustus, I go, what's the plan, for LSU to beat Caitlin Clark? I go, how do you slow her down? She said, you don't slow her down. But that doesn't mean you can't beat them. Yeah. So she was confident going the game that LSU was going to win. And I wasn't that confident LSU was going to win. But, women's basketball is at a great spot right now. And I hope people keep watching. And I'm going to bring Kaya to a couple WNBA games this year. I'm going to go watch Sykes play in D.C. I'm going to go watch Breanna Stewart play June 27th, probably weekend in the city. Bring my daughter to that. But I want to I want to get her out to games. I want her to meet these people. I just think it's important. I ran into Emily Ingsler. I was meeting up with Nancy Lieberman, and all of a sudden Emily's standing right there. And I just ran over to her. Like, I was so happy, like a little kid in a candy shop, because I haven't seen Emily since I was at Syracuse. So, it's just all love, that Syracuse love, and, what she's done to get into the league and, make a name for herself and go to the Final Four at Louisville. And it's in a great spot, and I love learning the history of the game. I want to know more about it. But being around people like Nancy and them, I just realized how important it is to be able to share the history of why we are where we are. They did it before WNBA. They made it so we had a WNBA. So I love where the women's game is at right now. It's just very skilled players, great coaches, and it's just fun.
I mean, I think back on it and say to myself, when the WNBA was starting out, you had players that, could have retired. You had players that, they were coming in and playing just so they could do it, just so they could live it. You look back in the beginning and Cheryl Swoops and Rebecca Lobo and Lisa Leslie and so on and so forth. You look at some of these players that it was like they did it all without it, and the players before them did it without it. And then it comes in and they get to come in with it. They get to live with it. They get to live in it. And then a lot of them lasted through it and just continue to fight, continue to play, continue to battle. We got spoiled. I just had my good friend who's the head coach over at King's College in Pennsylvania for the Monarchs. I had a women's basketball team. I had Caitlin Hajmahalis on the show, and we were discussing it. And I said to her, you look back on Rebecca Lobo was one of my favorite players of all time. Listening to her commentate for this women's tournament, I can tell you there's not a lot of commentators that I want to listen to because people are biased and they put personal stuff in it, and I don't want to hear it. And I think it's a cardinal sin when you do that. I was listening to Rebecca Lobo to the point where I wasn't even paying attention to the game. I was just hearing her voice. And I thought to myself, I thought I liked her as a player. I might like her just as much. I might like her more with time as a commentator. So this evolution of the game, like you said, you got to teach the history. These women got to know the history. Men got to know the history. We got to know the history as people, because there's so much beauty in it. But you made a mistake in something that you said. And the mistake that you made is that you said that you're going to a New York Liberty game and you're bringing Kaya. But I believe that I made a bet with you that if Brianna Stewart went to the Liberty, that we were going to go to a game, and I gave you my word on that.
I know, an hour and a half from me, so I'm good any game.
So to me, and I just talked about this. So I've never had an official WNBA team, right? Like I said before, I've liked players. So I came down to 3 teams. I'm going to ask your thoughts on it. Caitlin gave me hers, but I got New York Liberty, which has always lingered there because of Rebecca Lobo. So I have the New York Liberty, I have the Dallas Wings, and I have the Seattle Storm. If you had to pick, for me, who would you pick? I think I know where you're going, but I want to ask.
I think I'd go New York now that Stewie's there.
Yeah.
I don't. You gotta go with the hometown one, but it's hard to pick one because I grew up a LA Sparks fan because I love Lisa Leslie and then Candace Parker. Those are like my 2 favorites. I went to a game. I was supposed to see Lisa play in her last season, and she ended up getting a knee injury, and I went to the game and I saw Candace play, but Lisa wasn't there. So I think I grew up a Sparks fan, but now that I know people, like, I gotta root for Emily. I gotta root for Sykes with the Mystics. I'm a big Mystics fan.
Yeah. I get that.
And I'm gonna be a Stewie fan. And I'm also a fan of Becky Hammon with the Aces. I can't pick one. I can't be a fan anymore. I just like good basketball.
But I feel like for me, it's like,
yeah, you gotta be a Liberty fan.
I mean, yeah, and it's I feel like it's a poetic thing to do, and I want to make my announcement in a really cool way. But I think it's poetic to say, from Lobo to Stewie, here I am. Well, you know what I mean? It's like from the beginning, from the initial, from the is this going to happen to Stewie's coming to New York. That it's always been in my background, and 2 of my favorite players. I tell people all the time, I'm like, Brianna Stewart was here. She was playing in the Dome in sectional games. Like, Do
She
you
was
guys know
blocking
you?
my shot my junior year.
Yeah, it's like, do you guys know that you could have come to see her play for $8? Like, I mean, it boggles my mind. She's one of the greatest players in the world. She will go down as one of the greatest basketball players in the history of the sport of basketball, in my opinion. And she won all the time in UConn. She won MVPs. She won championships, 4 for 4. She's out in Seattle doing her thing. Now she's with the Liberty. I mean, to me, she's timeless. She's timeless. And she came from our backyard.
I agree.
That's
like I said, she's
crazy.
blocking my shots. I can't believe it. I can't believe the career she's had. I'm so happy for her, but she just works, you know. I wear her shoes, so I think everyone should go get a Stewie shoe. I think we got to support women. There's only 2 women's shoes out there. If you have a daughter, you should be putting them in Stewie's shoe. If you have a son, you should be putting them in Stewie's shoe. They're comfortable, they're good shoes, but I don't think enough people are buying them. I don't think enough people are supporting. But everyone will be in the first in line to get their daughter the next Kyrie. Nothing against Kyrie and the men, but I think we got to support both. You know, we're too much supporting one and not the other. So.
Yeah, you know what? And the thing is I'm looking at the design in the studio right now. I'm feeling it because, and this was the reason why I put Seattle in my wheelhouse, because I loved the Supersonics back in the day.
Right.
So, and Gary Payton and Sean Kemp and Hersey Hawkins and Sam Perkins and Detlef Schrempf and that whole team, I love that. So when Seattle got a WNBA team, I was like, all right. And then when Bree went there, I was like, okay. But now that she's with the Liberty, but green is my favorite color. So I'm taking a look at these, and yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think people need to support it. I think people need to go out and get them. I don't buy shoes based on player. I buy it based on look. And
it's a good looking shoe though.
It's a fresh look. Like
it's a fresh look.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, it's not, see, because that's the thing. Like, if you had like some white Converse, I don't like boring shoes. My shoes are crazy. And I'm looking at Bree's shoes and I'm like, all right, you know what? She's got 3 different colors. She's got a fade tone coming in there. Go out and get them, folks. Listen, if we didn't tell you what they were and we just threw them up there and you just looked at them, because some people look for the player. I don't look for the player. I look for the color. I'm like, I need an orange shoe. I need a red and yellow. I need a green. That's how I shop.
She won 4 national championships. Like, what
Yeah.
are we talking about? The player. She's the best player of all time.
So, yeah. So I would agree to go out and get Breanna Stewart's shoes. I don't know why I said shows. On this show, go and get her shoes. But I think I was saying it because I was thinking in my head, we should get an endorsement for the show.
They're on sale on Dix.com for like $50 right now.
It's like $49.99.
If you can't go buy a shoe, I mean, I think I'm upset that they already lowered the price so much, but people should be buying them. Dan, I had to let you know, so even talk about the Mystics, I had a fangirl moment. I'm not a fangirl, like I'm 30 years old, but I had a fangirl moment at the Dallas Swing Party when I ran into Natasha Cloud. I just think she's fabulous. She plays on the Mystics, and I don't know, she has funny TikToks, and I was like the happiest person to meet her, and I was like a fangirl. It just made my whole year, I think.
I like that. It. Listen, and I don't get like that either. There's a couple people. When I talked to, for Superpowered Pop, my entertainment show, when I interviewed the creator of Darkwing Duck, Tad Stones, I did the whole interview like zoned out, like my cheeks were like, it was like I was smiling in the studio because we were on audio and like my face was frozen. When I got off the air, I just interviewed the creator of Darkwing Duck. And I knew that I was with the wrong woman when I told her, and she was like, yeah, so? And I was just like, do you get what I sat I was like, I didn't even know what to do. I didn't want to eat. I was like, do I go run a mile? Do I call my mom, my dad? What do I do? Do I jump on the roof? Like, what am I supposed to do now? Because I was just blown. And the other time that happened was when I met Doug Flutie, because I was like, this is like, who was going to do this, right? He's like every man's man, he's just like a typical dude, whatever. And I remember standing there waiting to interview him, and like my hands are starting to get a little sweaty. I'm like, I'm going to interview Doug Flutie. This is crazy. I'm going to do, because I put his card, when he became a Bill, I put his card in a little case and I put it on my dresser, and I stared at it in the morning whenever I needed to see it, I put it right there on my mirror. So I would look at it when I was getting ready to tell me that everybody that told me I can't do what I want to do, that I can do what I want to do because Doug did it. So, I mean, I get that. And I've had a couple moments, not many, but I understand those moments. I think, with Stewie, when she was finishing up in high school, I was coming back. So her and I have never crossed paths. I think the first time that I get to talk to her and sit down with her, I think for me, that's going to be a really big moment because she's one of the people that's been on my list to interview for like a decade. So to get to do that would be a true pleasure for me and an honor and a privilege. So Stewie, if you're listening, please know that. So, but to get back to the tournament, I want to bring up something that really bothered me, and I've been talking about it for 3 weeks, but I'm going to keep talking about it until they change it. Everything about the game was good, except for, well, two things, I guess. Apparently, women can't trash talk, but men can. So we're going to talk about that. The other, and this doesn't belong to, that belongs to John Cena. He started the trash, and literally people do this in movies now. He's got t-shirts. You can't see me with the hand and the no smoking thing. But anyways, so I want to get your thoughts on that. And I also want to get your thoughts on the fact that the game was moved to 3:30 or put at 3:30. I shouldn't say moved, put at 3:30 on a Sunday. And what do they always tell us, Katie? They say the game's got to be later because the West Coast got to be ready. Well, the West Coast saw the game at 12:30, which means they were eating lunch, eating brunch, getting out of church, still in church. The game was at 12:30 on the West Coast, 2:30 in Dallas where it was played, 3:30 on the East Coast. Did I watch the whole game? Yeah. Did I rush my butt home to be able to see it? I did. Did I watch it all the way through and get emotional about it and loved every minute of it and wanted both teams to win because I was really happy for Kim Mulkey and what she was doing? I really wanted Caitlin Clark and her team to get. So that was a really hard thing for me. And you hear those coaches talk and their emotion and the care and just, I think about it now and I get emotional because I didn't want a team to lose that game. But the game was played at 3:30, 12:30 on the West Coast. So I want to know your thoughts about the BS time slot so that they could put the Texas Rangers' third game of the season on a 162-game season at 8 o'clock. So the only way to do right by them is for that four-letter network in November when the World Series is played to take a women's basketball game that are 2-3 games into the season, put that game on, put an Iowa versus Citadel game on at 8 o'clock, 2 weeks into the season, 3 weeks into the season, and move that World Series game to noon. Because my biggest gripe with the championship was the time, and my other issue with it is men have been trash talking for a million years. People know Muhammad Ali for his trash talk. Same thing about Mike Tyson. So why are we complaining about two women that were in the heat of battle?
Yeah, I didn't mind the time of the game, and I'll say it like this. When you go to the Final Four and a lot of people make their flights, they usually are going to leave on Sunday. In years previous, most people wouldn't stay for the game because their flights would have to get out of there. With the earlier time slot, like I was even able to go to a half because my flight left a little later. So I think it was a full sold out crowd, which I think was cool. And I think that was a testament to the time of the game. I'm not sure, but it was as full as it's been since I've been to a championship game. There wasn't an open seat in the house, and I think that's because of the game. And I'd rather them have a full arena for the players that are playing. And they still got really good numbers of watching. So I didn't have an issue with the time of the game, just because it allowed a lot of people to go to the game, and I thought that was cool to have a full arena. And then when it comes to the trash talking, I don't have an issue with the trash talking. I like trash talking. I think more people should do it. But I think there was a big difference between Caitlin and Angel. Like, Caitlin was doing it with her team and away from Van Lith at Louisville. I think is that who they played when they did it? I can't remember exactly who she did it against. But I think the issue I had was Angel fouled Caitlin Clark around after the game, which I thought was weird energy. I thought that was very bizarre. I've never seen a man or a woman foul the opposing player after the game was over instead of being with their team right away. Like, why is your thought on Caitlin Clark and not on your team? I didn't mind the one on the free throw line. She was just like, hey, I'm in my bag right now. We're in our bag. We're beating y'all right back at you. But to follow her around after the game, I thought was weird energy. I don't know Angel Reese. I think she's a phenomenal player, but to me, that was like, I'm not attacking Angel in any way. I just don't really understand why she did it. I just never seen that. I've never seen a man win a national championship and walk over to an opposing player like taunting them at the end of the game. So I think Caitlin Clark a little bit more in Angel's head than Angel will admit she is, because she made up the whole thing, the disrespect. Well, they weren't guarding South Carolina. Like, what did that have to do with you? If that's going to motivate you to win the game, I'm good with it. You know, make up your own stuff. But I don't think Caitlin Clark ever said anything in the media or said anything on the court that was disrespecting them. And I'm not saying Angel Reese disrespected her either. I just think it was a little weird to follow her around the game after.
Yeah, and I mean, so with what I said is, if men can trash talk and banter respectfully, then I'm cool with it. It's when it gets personal. It's when it gets personal. It's when there's name calling. It's when you start going after family. I'm all about having a good time, and in the moment, your emotions are running high. But there's a way to do it, and you brought it up. Like Caitlin, kind of, when she did it, it was almost like she wasn't doing it at somebody; she was kind of doing it. And sometimes it was down here, it wasn't even up here. But yeah, with Angel, and that's been my only thing about it was, well, you can't say men can do it, women can do it, women can't do it, or women can do it, men can't do it. I'm never for one or the other. I don't like double standards going for the women or against the women, for the men or against the men. But in the case of Angel, it was a lot. And then at the end of the game, she's like, I'm going to double down. Like, I'm not even sorry about this. And I was like, okay, like that's enough. And
Caitlin wasn't worried about her.
Yeah. And I think to me, the reality is, and I said how I would have reacted. I said, if I was Caitlin Clark and you're following me around doing this in the moment while the time's clicking down, one of my teammates going to have to come get me.
You're going to hold me back. You're not doing that. Like, you're not doing that.
That's a different way. That's different.
I didn't mind the free throw line one, though.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, in the heat of the game.
I didn't mind that one.
No, the heat of the moment, right? You want to go like that. You want to have a good time, whatever. You want to do this when 14 minutes into the game and you're hitting threes, whatever. That's fine. But at the end of the game, like there is etiquette at the end of the game, and it is like, this team just lost a national championship. Emotions are at an extreme high. And I feel like if that was, I just look at it like this. I feel like if LeBron and Kyrie were on opposite sides of a championship, and LeBron was like, to Kyrie at the end of the game, I feel like Kyrie would have jumped on him. So like that's the difference that I see. I feel like Kevin Durant and LeBron James cannot do that in a championship. So that's what I'm saying. At the end of the game, it was a lot for me. But at the same time, what I said after the game was, why are we talking about this? Like, yeah, okay, that happened, whatever. But that's the one thing we're focusing on, not the 9,000 records that were broken and all of the other things that happened, including the fact that 19,000 anything is a sellout for men or women in an NCAA tournament game, plus the amount of people that watched on television, and the fact that the contract is up for women's basketball, and that price ticket just went up. And I'm excited to see.
It sure did.
I'm really excited to see what they're going to negotiate now. And I would love for them to go, if it ain't 8 p.m., have yourself a day. We'll go to another night.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say, though, I will add on, I see where people were upset on Twitter because I think it became a race thing, like black versus white, Angel versus Caitlin, and not everything is about race, but people made it that way. Like, and I think that was wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with Angel and how she celebrates and how she has her things that she does and how her dances before the game and the music they listen to. I don't think there's anything wrong with any of that. And I think it became too much like an attack about her race. And I didn't like that. I don't think there needs to be 50, 60-year-old white men on Twitter calling wonderful 18-year-old, 19-year-old women who just won a championship names. That did not need to happen. I did think it was weird energy, and I will admit to that, but I don't think it should have been a race thing, and it doesn't make her a bad person. It doesn't make her something wrong with her. Hey, you just won a national championship, Angel. You making millions. Go do your thing. I ain't mad at you. I'll tell you that much. I'm not mad at you for winning a championship at LSU. But I don't like the personal attacks. Like, I would never call her a name. I would never do any of that. That's just, that's not right. You know, she's a human being and she deserves respect. So I think I could see why people on Twitter were upset about it, because it just became too much of a race thing that it didn't need to be like that.
And to me too, it was like, after the thing, it's like, are you on Caitlin's side or Angel's side? I'm like,
nobody's side.
I'm on nobody's side. Like, I just watched a good game. I watched a good game. I got really good queso from Salt City Kitchen here. I'm happy that a local place makes good queso. So on my mind after the game was, damn, that queso was good. That game was good. That's where I was.
And they're friends.
Yeah, like that's where my and that
Caitlin and Angel are friends. So.
And that's the thing is, Caitlin was like what? Like, we're good. So I mean, I don't get all that, but we live in a world where everybody feel like they have to have an opinion about everybody's life. And I'll tell you this, I will tell people this without fail. If you got the time to comment about everybody's life and what everybody's doing, you are not doing anything of merit, because I do not have the time. People say, do you listen to other people's show? What if somebody said something about you? Do you live about it? I was like, I'm working and living my dreams. I don't have time to hear whatever anybody else says. I don't care. And you know what? I don't care how good their show is. Their show is not my show. And I'm trying to beat Dan Tortora. There is nobody on this planet better at what I do than me. And I'm trying to beat him from yesterday. That's how I view it. It's not an ego. It's that I know what I command out of myself. I know what I want from myself, and I don't back down. So I don't have time to think about other people. I'm trying to make my dreams come true before God calls me home. That's it. So Angel, LSU, that team did it. Jasmine, damn. I mean, that was a game. So to me, it's like, do work. I will say the officiating.
No, we're not going to talk about that. That was bad. It didn't dictate the game, though. It didn't. I think LSU would have won regardless. I don't think it affected the outcome of the game.
It didn't affect the outcome of the game, but it
made it hard to watch at times.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've never seen a technical foul come from somebody tossing the ball behind their back to the ground.
In the biggest game of the year, it was unnecessary. But, I'm a fan of Angel Reese. So, the way she can rebound and the way she – she put the team on her back this year, and I have no issue with Angel Reese. I think, she's a good player. She's going to go be a great pro. Caitlin's going to be a great pro, and there's going to be a lot more battles ahead for those two, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, and people forget about the fact that, you have tremendous coaches out here, and there's so many storylines that are coming into next. I'm ready for next season now.
Yeah, I can't wait.
That's the beauty of it. And I got it. I mean, two things on my mind is Caitlin Clark, because I shoot threes my whole life, so I love that game and I love that world and what she's able to do and how she's able to do it. And I don't compare her to Steph Curry, I compare her to Caitlin Clark. But on the other side of it, with Angel, her style, I guess you get used to it after a while, but you got that full leg and you got the short. And I was like, I just want to pull her aside and be like, when did you decide to do this? Does it feel comfortable? Do you even feel it anymore? If you didn't do it, do you feel like your game would be off? Like how, AI had to have that, whether or not he needed it, he had to have that sleeve. So, I don't know. I feel like there's so many cool things and cool storylines and cool moments from, women's basketball this year. And I hope y'all didn't miss it. And if you did, you missed a lot of good basketball, great basketball. And I guess the final note here, Miss Kalinski, is, where do we go from here? Where's women's basketball right now? And where do we go from here? Because you're in the D1 world, so you see it. So where are we?
Honestly, it's wild west right now. Everyone's leaving schools, the transfer portal, NIL money. It's just craziness. We don't see it as much in the Patriot League. We don't get a lot of transfers out in our league. We don't really deal with NIL money in our league. So I'm kind of just watching from afar, but it's fun though. You can pick. It's pretty much like NBA free agency. You just get to pick a team you want to play for, and when you want to play for, you don't have to sit out. But I also think the women's game's in a good place, and I think there's money in the women's game, and I hope men don't just see the dollar signs and that's why they want to support. I think women deserve to be supported because they're good at what they do. They work hard at what they do. And I hope everyone stays on board. And I say this all the time, if you have a daughter, you would want her to be treated equally to the men, and you'd want her to have the same things that the men have. So, you should bring your daughter to games. You should support the WNBA because they deserve it. And I really, and it starts with women too. Women got to bring their daughters to games. And, like I said, I'm bringing Kaya to games this year. I'm excited to get out there. I support the WNBA every summer, the last 7 to probably 8-9 years. I've gone to a WNBA game every single summer, maybe multiple games. So I just go out and watch these women. I think the stands should be more full for WNBA games, and but I think the future is bright. The Caitlin Clarks of the world, the Angel Reeses of the world, the Haley Van List of the world, Aaliyah Bostons of the world, Cameron Brinks of the world. It's good things ahead for women's basketball, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and that's and you said it. You said it. Go out to the games. Don't complain about it. Do something about it. Put your money where your mouth is, and be a part of it. So I am very excited for all that is to come. We've had a great conversation about sports, life, as we always do. We've talked about a bunch of different things, covered Lafayette, covered the Patriot League, the WNBA, women's college basketball in general. It's been an awesome conversation, as always, Miss Kolinski, and I am spoiled. So I look forward to talking with you soon.
No, I always appreciate you, obviously having me on, Dan. I appreciate our friendship, and, keep doing what you're doing, keep spreading the positivity of sports. And, hopefully we can just change one person at a time, and maybe it's one person a year. I don't know, their views and how they see women and how they see women's sports. But, we're going to keep trying. We're going to keep doing what we do.
Yeah. And, the thing is I can honestly say my life would have been drastically different in and out of sports if I didn't cover women's athletics. I wouldn't have met so many of my good friends and people that I would go to battle for any day, including you. And so, people say, why do you do it? Why shouldn't I do it? Is the way that I always answer. And my words back in 2003 were, if I'm going to commentate the basketball games, I'm going to do both. If I don't do the women's game, then I don't want to do it, because there's no point in coming in, setting up in the middle of the women's game and them watching me put everything together and for the game after them, and to not be a part of it. So it's meant a lot to me, and it's always meant the world to me. It's not hard to bring people together. You just have to love everybody, and you have to mean it. And like I said, I don't know if I've seen a better ending of any basketball season at any level than I saw this year in women's college basketball. I would put it up against some of the NBA finals that I watched. I'd put it up against a bunch of NCAA tournament games on the men's side. I thought UConn, and this is no disrespect to San Diego State, I thought UConn knew they were winning that game before they went into it. Yeah. I didn't know who was going to win the game when LSU played Iowa. I didn't. Yeah. And I look forward to it. I look forward to the bouts, and I hope it's better this coming season. So, Katie, thank you for everything, and thanks for giving me the time that you do. I always appreciate it.
No, of course, Dan. Have a good day today, and, we'll talk soon. So.
That was good. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here. which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. I cannot thank my guests enough today. This trio of guests have been honest. They've been open. We've talked about their lives. They've let me in, and by letting me in, they've let you in. And that's not a small thing, and it's not something to be taken lightly. Jesse Edwards is making a decision for his future. To those of you that have been negative and mean and rude about it, shame on you. Because everybody deserves to make their choices. He gave Syracuse multiple years. He will have a degree from here. So he didn't leave after a year. He didn't leave after 2 years. He didn't give up on this team. He's going to play somewhere else for his grad year. So anyone that has sent him or me or anybody a negative message about Jesse, think about what you say. Think about if you'd want someone to say that to you, which most people never think of when they're writing on social media. And not only do I want you to think about what you're saying and if you'd want somebody to say it to you, but would you want them to say it to your kids? So have compassion, have kindness. Jesse trusted me to tell his story, and today we did it in a way that he will do nowhere else the same. I appreciate the fact that we spoke about a lot of different things, and he said flat out, it does not have to just do with one subject. It was a bunch of things. A bunch of his teammates went in the transfer portal. He said this is going to be a new Syracuse. When you're this deep in your college career, do you want to change everything or change a bunch of things, or do you want to go somewhere else and have the opportunity? If I played 4 years at a school and I had a bonus fifth year, that might be something on my mind to say, hey, you know what? I'm never going to have this opportunity again. Maybe I should see what something else looks like. And the international NIL rules and different things were tough to navigate and figure out. So I appreciate the fact that Jesse has tried to educate himself, tried to learn, tried to take advantage of opportunities that weren't awarded to student athletes in the past when the NCAA is $1 billion institution that never shared its money with its with the student athletes that were providing the money to them. There's nothing wrong with Jesse writing another chapter to his story. But there is something wrong with people defaming and disrespecting him or anybody for doing that. There's a lot of people in the portal. Do I like the portal for everything it is? No. But are there things I do like about it? Yes. Do I like NIL with no restrictions? Absolutely not. But do I think that the NCAA should learn how to share their money when they've been making an ungodly amount of money on the backs of these student athletes that never got anything? And most of these student athletes never play professionally. So you make all this money off of them and they never get to make a penny for themselves. That's not fair. So I'm going to stick up for Jesse, and I'm going to stick up for anybody that's chasing their dreams and looking at a new opportunity. You don't know Jesse like I know Jesse. Most of the people writing on social media have never talked to him. And this guy's a good man. He has always been good to me. He has trusted me, and I have trusted him. And our trust together, that's important. So instead of spending the wee hours writing messages about people on social media, maybe you should spend the wee hours building relationships and connecting with people and building bonds that last forever. And maybe you should think before you speak. And maybe you should understand that until you step in someone's shoes, you don't know what you would do. If my family and I sat down and I said, Mom and Dad, I have the opportunity to make money off my name, image, and likeness in college, I think my parents would say, then explore it, son. Does that make me greedy? No. I make money off my name, image, and likeness now as a business owner. People utilize me, who I am, what I do, my personality, my voice. Jesse had a lot of things to think about, and this was not an easy decision. He's been good to Syracuse, so be good back to him. Always. To Joe Tesori, he's been great to our community. He's given so much. He's cared so much. Speaking with him for a few minutes made me feel like the future of this world is in good hands. When people like him are in society, regardless of age, background, ethnicity, this, that, money, whatever. When you have people like Joe Tesori that care the way that he does and are willing to share that, and I mean, this man is, he said he's 74 years old. But when he talks about the game, he's 15. He's 5 years old again, out there with his dad. You can't teach that. Passion is a beautiful thing. Katie Kalinski, my lord, this woman on and off the court has fought battles that you have no idea about. Yet she makes time, she smiles, she is always there to help other people. She's never not been there for me. She's always been there. From the first time we started talking, she has always been there. And you can't teach that. You can't. You heard today from 3 beautiful souls telling their stories candidly, openly, without any filter. You're not going to find this anywhere else. And I appreciate that Jesse, Joe, Katie, and all of you have trusted me to do what I've done on this show and with every show that we do. I appreciate you all. All of you. You're here with us every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life, on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /wakeupcalldt, as well as on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. Once the shows go live, they hop into the archives. You can check us out on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Player FM, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, Podbean, Podvine, YouTube, and more. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. You can literally go to any search engine on any one of your devices, search Dan Tortora, or Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and you will find a plethora of places to listen, watch, read, and enjoy what I get to do here every day, which is a blessing. Thank you to our incredible partners, the people that have believed in me, leaned on me, and I on them. We've built an awesome team of wonderful individuals. We've worked hard. in this community and beyond. This group, this team that I have at Wake Up Call, I don't take anybody lightly. There's a purpose, there's a reason. Thank you to Matt Goddard of Cafe Kubal for believing in me in the middle of a pandemic. Thank you to Carvel DeWitt for believing in me when I started my business. Thank you for being with me for over a decade. To the Wildcat Sports Pub, who believed in my vision, who started the high school connection to sports and this model that I built within my company. Without the Wildcat, I wouldn't be where I am today with everything that we've done. With West Jenny, with Liverpool, with CNS, with CBA, with Windsor, with Shenango Valley, Shenango Forks, Maine Endwell, Union Endicott, Baldwinsville, ESM, and so on and so forth. FM, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, and Canine Campground Dog Boarding. Lorraine has believed in who I am and why I am and what I do and how I do it and everything that I've done. She has been a supporter beyond my wildest dreams, and I can't thank her enough for that. PB&J's Lunchbox. Pat Orr has seen who I am as a person. We only do more together. We're working on all types of things in the background. She has believed in me and continues to come to me, and she takes time with me. That's how I know we're building something special. Great Lakes Honda City has been with me for a decade, and they were known as Honda City before, for those of you wondering. But Great Lakes Honda City, it's where I get all my vehicles. They've trusted me. I've trusted them. Canine Camp Dog Daycare, as I mentioned before, it's where I trust with Lily, to go back to them for a second. Mother's Cupboard, they've treated me like a king. They're one of the pioneers. They are Syracuse. And I have a sandwich in their location. 3709 James Street in Syracuse, 7 days a week. My sandwich sits there, the Cuse McMother, right there on the board. And you can order it any day of the week, 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. That's an honor, true honor, one of the biggest honors of my life. Chick-fil-A Cicero, Chick-fil-A Clay, Chick-fil-A Watertown, they all worked with me the day they opened the door. We were working together. Jimmer Sikowski and Merritt Brady have trusted me to not only respect and put a spotlight on what Chick-fil-A is and who they truly are and what they care about, but to make Chick-fil-A Clay, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Chick-fil-A Watertown individually special. Pizza Man. Jimmy Delia and his father treated me like I was their friend of many years. Jimmy and I talked twice, and that was it for me. First time we talked, I wanted to work with them. The way that they treated me, my mom was there with me, and they walked away. She said, these guys respect you and respect your work like they've been working with you for years, like they went to school with you. You can't teach that. Avicoli's, John and I, he comes out, thanks me all the time. Thank you so much for what you did. Thanks for the Liverpool event. It's great. As busy as he is and the millions of jobs that he does for Avicoli's, he always spends a few minutes with me. Always wants to know what's going on. Shares knowledge with me. He's like an encyclopedia of Liverpool and sports and the community. And he appreciates what I do. And he hasn't questioned that. And I appreciate his belief in me. 317 at Montgomery Street. The way that they treated my dad and took care of my dad and my dad's retirement, that'll only happen one time. That'll only happen one time. And how they treated my father was one of the reasons why I wanted to work with him. The other reason was the food. 317 at Montgomery, Joel treats me like we went to school together, like he's known me forever. Moyne has trusted me to be their exclusive multimedia marketing partner, to be their voice to the community in Central and Upstate New York, the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and around the world. They have trusted me to tell their story in a way that they've never embarked on before as a college in their entire history as an institution. And Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse has done the same thing. Never have they ever had someone like me and a business like mine and a partnership like we do represent them to the world. And these schools have trusted me with a model that I can take to any college and university anywhere in the world. And they were the pioneers of me taking a plan, implementing it, and making it a reality. They believed in a dream, and we have now produced on those dreams. And they've made me a better man with the stories that I've gotten to tell and the people that I've gotten to meet. I'm spoiled for all the right reasons. Life is good. And I appreciate God for all of it, because without God, I have nothing. I have nothing. I don't know these people without God. I'm not who I am today without God. I don't have any of these relationships. I don't get to wake up every day, go to my studio, and do my show with my name on it the way that I want to do it. I don't get that without God. I don't get anywhere without God. I can't move forward without God. So today, when you get to tell the stories that are different, yet similar because they're candid, because they're real, because they're genuine, because they're sharing, because they feel safe. That's what my show is about. People feeling safe, heard, understood, welcomed. No words are changed around. Nothing is misquoted. Nobody is misunderstood. We just talk and listen. Jesse, Joe, Katie, and at this point in my life, 4,000 whatever people that have been on the show, just on Wake Up Call, not including Do Diz with Dan or Superpowered Pop or Comic Book Trails. What can I say? You guys make my life so rewarding, fruitful. You've given more meaning to a life that already had so much meaning thanks to the friends and family that I have. You've become my friends. A lot of you have become my family. I can't thank you enough for trusting me, for loving me, for believing in me, for committing to me to do things and, like sticking by your word. Your commitment, your dedication, your love, your support, your faith, your kindness, your laughter, your generosity, your time never goes unnoticed. And I love you all because you have made my life at 37 years old. It's like I've lived 100 lifetimes and I've just gotten started. So we are never going to be done. The day that God takes me home, I hope I'm 100-something years old. I hope I still have my brain, my wits about me, my laughter, my comedy, and my health overall. I hope my heart's good, my body's good, my mind's good, and my soul is good. And the day that God takes me home, the minute before he does, I'm going to say, what else can I do for you, God, while I'm still here? Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Katie. Thank you to everybody that watched and listened around the world today. Thank you for everybody that's with us Monday through Friday from 9 to 11. Thank you to everyone that comes out to our live events in the community. Thank you to everybody that's been with me in Florida. Thank you to everyone that has been with me when we have put the show on the road. Hashtag Wake Up Call OTR when we go and do that. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for caring. You have no idea what clicking on the show does. Like Katie said, we're trying to change one life at a time. Just trying to get people to love each other, to listen, to care, to hope, to have faith, to pray. There's not a single guest I've had on my show that hasn't gone through something tough. They might be going through it at that moment. But we go through it together. We're a family. So, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I hope to see y'all tomorrow. Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT, all the time on wakeupcalldt.com. Bookmark, subscribe, save, love it, have it. There's a Moyne tab. There's a BSC Syracuse tab for Brian and Stratton. And of course, you can find us on YouTube. There's so many people that have subscribed. I wanted to get to 100 subscribers because I had never pushed for subscribers. We're at 615. So, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And every single one of you matters. Anyone that knows me knows I'm not a numbers guy. So if I have one listener and that one listener says, thanks for what you did. Thank you for helping me today. Thanks for that advice. Thanks for making me laugh. I never thought of it that way. I thank you all for the interaction. I thank you all for caring enough to watch and listen and read. And I hope we've made your life better. We've definitely tried to. And we've given our best. And that's all I will ever ask of myself or anybody else. I look forward to talking with you soon. God bless. No stress.